Yo, welcome back to my channel. As you saw from the title, another solo raid is underway. Solo raid number 35, Crystal Chamber. This time around is a Fire Week variation. This boss is not much different from the regular variant, but there are a few different moves that it does. First, I'll go over each and every one of these moves and how to deal with them. Then I'll do a full run so you can see the whole thing put together. Then I'll go over the teams that I'll be using and some replacements as well as alternative teams. And lastly, I'll include my one and done run at the end. So hit that like button and subscribe for more, and let's get right into it. The first move that Crystal Chamber will do is up to you. It gives you two choices. If you choose skill 2, it will spawn this big crystal bomb that will fly towards you and do about half of your HP in damage that pierces cover. So if you have a healer on the team, it's better to let it hit you because the alternative is shooting it. And this is a hit count projectile, so while for MG users this is no problem, rocket launchers and snipers will have a hard time destroying it. Your second choice, skill 1, will do no damage to you, however it will apply a 30% attack debuff to the entire team for the entire battle, so you never want to pick this option. Next up, throughout the battle, the boss will spawn these missiles from the back and you can shoot them down if you want to. It will also put up this green shield and a QTE. Now this QTE can only be broken by fire code allies, so you have to bring a fire unit. At around 40 seconds in, the boss will enter the so-called mid-battle QTE. There are 3 phases of this QTE and they're all in the middle. There are also gray ones that when hit, fail the QTE and will end your run. So if you have AoE units, you need to cover them so that they do not hit the gray circles as well. First, it's a single, then 3 in succession, and lastly 3 at once. After the QTE, the boss will chill for a bit and then enter a phase transition to phase 2. Now there isn't much that changes in phase 2 except for the 2 rocks that will now be floating in the middle of the screen and will deal 3 additional attacks. When the rocks start flashing, they will fire 2 laser attacks to the Nikke with the red emblem above her head, so here Rappy will get hit twice. The damage isn't that big though. The next move will be this big green crystal that will glow in the middle. This move will do very significant damage to your team, but with a strong healer you can just tank it as well, or just cover right as you see the big flash of light. Right after that, it will fire 4 crystals that are also hit count projectiles. Most teams will have to shoot at least some of them because they will deal very high damage collectively. The rocks will also have a QTE every now and then that isn't very important to shoot, but it saves you from a few extra laser shots. And the last move is this sweeping laser shot that starts out as a crystal hanging over your head. This attack also deals very significant damage, but can be tanked with healers. Alternatively, you can just take over and avoid all the damage. So now let's take all of that knowledge and put it together to a whole continuous run. To start, I'm going to pick skill 2 to get the big crystal, and I'm just gonna ignore the crystal and let it hit me. Also, as it gets closer, I'm going to aim more down and right to prevent the possibility of my leftmost unit hitting the crystal instead of the boss itself. I'm going to ignore the missiles here, and then go straight into the fire QTE. And now we're just waiting for the mid-battle QTE. Here it is. Be careful not to proc Rappy's explosion here. Now we hurry up and wait for the phase transition. Ah, there it is. Ignore the missiles and wait for the rocks to spawn. I'm gonna ignore these lasers. Now that the crystal has appeared, I'm waiting for the flash of light to cover, and immediately after I'm going to get ready to shoot the hit count crystals that are going to be spawning in the middle. You want to shoot these, ideally you want to shoot these crystals outside of full burst if possible, since the damage doesn't matter, so you'll just be wasting your full burst. Now I'm going to shoot the 2 QTEs on the rocks. More missiles to ignore. Now this looming crystal appears. I'm just going to tank this and heal later. More missiles, just ignore these as well. Lasers, ignore those. Go in full burst. The crystal move again. I will take cover for this again. More lasers. And now we're getting into the crystals. For the crystals also, if you have AoE, you can just weaken them with the AoE before you shoot them to lose less damage. 2 rock QTs again. And now in the home stretch, the looming crystal comes up again, which I just tanked through. And there it is. So now let's take a look at the teams. So first off, I'm going to be using this Crown, Rappy, Little Mermaid, Diesel, and Mast. So in this team you're going to be following the classic rotation with bursting twice with Crown and then bursting once with Mast. So Crown, Crown, Mast, Crown, Crown, Mast, and so on. Because you always want to burst with Mast when she has 3 stacks of her skill. Now here you can also replace Diesel with Alice and Mast with Treasure Privity. This will work pretty good as well. And you can also replace Alice with Treasure Hum as well as an on-burst unit, with Privity as an off-burst unit here. And this is just going to be hyper buffing for Rappy, and just basically a pretty well-rounded good team with very fast reloads, a lot of healing, and a lot of survivability. So we're going to be tanking most if not all the hits in this raid. So this is another very good team. Next up we get the shotgun team, and I'll be using Tove with the new Arcana, with Summer Doro, Treasure Drake, and Solene B1 as an off-burst CDR unit with very little healing. If you do not have the new Arcana though, you can also replace her with the Winter Bread. And if you have both of them, you can use Arcana as an on-burst B2 and then replace Solene with Bread as an off-burst for that massive damage taken debuff from Bread, as well as the buffs and the damage from Arcana. However, as you can see here that we do not have a CDR unit, so instead of Doro, we'll be using Bunny Soda to extend that burst for longer, and that way we have no downtime in between bursts. You can also use Naga here as well, or even Nayuta, to have a little bit of a comfier run with this team. The third team that I will be using is this Miranda team with Miranda, Nayuta, Mihara, Rouge, and Ada. Now in this team you can replace Ada with Helm if you do not have Ada, and Helm might actually be better for you depending on your investment. And you can replace Nayuta with either Grave, Brid, or Aid. All of them will work pretty well in this team as well. For the fourth team, I will be using Leader with Grave, with Asuka, with Rei, and Modernia. In this team, you can also replace Asuka with Alice, and you could also swap out Modernia for Mihara. And both of these teams will be just as good. For my team 5, I will be using Moran with Brid, with Alice, with Treasure Helm and Treasure Privity as an off burst. You can also replace Brid with Aid here, Bunny Aid, and she will be synergistic with both Alice and with Helm. And something to mention is that whenever there is Treasure Moran in the team, she can also be replaced with Leader, so they are kind of interchangeable. And now onto some alternative teams. First we have the team with Moran, the duo Maids with Mast and Anchor, with Diesel and with the new Snow White Heavy Arms. You could also replace Snow White with Liberaglio here, or if you want a more classic feel, you can replace both of them with SBS and Alice. And again, Moran can be replaced with Leader. For the next alternative team, we have a return of one of my favorite teams in the game, this Dot team with Razana, Moran or Leader, Mihara, Helm and Raven as an off burst. Now, due to Moran being such a good sustain, you may be able to replace Helm with another DPS or a different buffer if you have one, and this is generally a pretty good team in itself. And lastly, I have for you this tactical trio with Emma, Enwa and Vesti, some type of CDR unit, and for example Liberaglio as a secondary DPS. You can also use Snow White here if you're not using her on a different team, or you could even swap in someone like Cindy here. So that is going to do it for the teams. And it is going to do it for this guide. Hopefully I was able to help you out, and if I did, like, comment and subscribe. Take a look at my runs coming up. Good luck on your own runs, and I'll see you next time.
is time to come alive. There's much more than what you see. In a world that looks to defeat, other destiny is heading for me. Every time you take a challenge, risk to take over. I'm ready, let the battle begin. It's time to shine
Never let me see the light and fall on you. It's a pain, feel the fear, no one's a tear. You can never all away from me. Shock. Consoled, smokes out. You have nothing for me. You're down, fell out. You're in the down.
Do you think you will live today? Or I can make you die in pain? Yeah, you never say your mom day.
Let me rush you right away.
I'll take you down today. And I will make you die in pain. Yeah, you call insane.
You're best with me.
I'll beat you down. Never had any chance. I'll beat you down.
On the way you're gone.
I'll beat you down. Never had any chance. I'll beat you down.
Right away.
Do you think you will live today? Or I can make you die in pain? Yeah, you never say your mom day.
Let me rush you right away.
I'll take you down today, and I will make you die in pain. Yeah, you call insane.
You're best with me. You're trying to run away from me. You're trying to run away from me. Can you feel the fear? No one's a tear. Never let me see the light and fall on you. It's a pain, feel the fear. No one's a tear. You can never run away from me. Shock. Consoled, smokes out. You have nothing for me. You're down, fell out. You're in the
Do
down.
you think you will live today? Or I can make you die in pain? Yeah, you never say your mom day.
Let me rush you right away.
I'll take you down today, and I will make you die in pain. Yeah, you call insane.
You're best with me.
I'll beat you down. Never had any chance. I'll beat you down.
On the way you're gone.
I'll beat you down. Never had any chance. I'll beat you down.
Right away.
Do you think you will live